Someone recently asked me whether I think that religion should be taught to children from an early age or integrated into school programs. Now, my reply to her was the following. I don't know if you consider religion as being something that has to do with ethics. What I can say is that I'm not convinced that a world without religion would be worse. But one thing I am certain is that a world without enlightenment would be mess. It would be the worst. So what I think should be taught to children is enlightenment. Give children enough knowledge, enough context, enough intellectual tools so that they can decide by themselves whether they agree or not, whether they want to believe or not. If we are being honest, most religious people did not arrive at their beliefs through careful reasoning or through a scientific method. Statistics consistently show us that the majority of believers were simply born into it and just accepted it as they were being told. That alone tells us something important, which is that belief is usually inherited and not discovered. There is no experiment, no falsifiable method, no independent verification that brings most people to religion. It is simply accepted and never questioned. Well, most of the times not questioned. Now, here's an interesting fact. Studies reveal that many atheists and agnostics, which of course includes many scientists, actually know more about religion, so they score more on religious topics than many believers themselves, which means they have read the text, examined the contradictions, and explored multiple traditions. This supports the whole point. Belief often survives not because it is thoroughly examined, but because it is simply never examined at all. And this is where, if you want, that the key distinction between religion and science lies. One asks for acceptance and the other requires doubts. This is an important structural difference. Faith asks you to accept without doubt, whereas science asks you to doubt until proof appears. Historically, religion has also been a powerful social instrument because when people are shielded from questioning, they become praise, they become tools of control. And as far as history can teach us, this has remarkably worked well in most of the cases. Maybe colonization here rings a bell in your mind. And this makes total sense because people who are discouraged from thinking critically are easier to control, are easier to tame if you want, easier to command, easier to keep obedient. So to sum up, should religion be taught to children? Well, you got my point. Not as truth, not as doctrine. What I think should be taught should be critical thinking, reasoning, philosophy, history, ethics. We should tell children the truth to the best of our ability. Show them different belief or cultural systems. Teach them how to question, how to reason, and how to think independently. I believe that if you give them all these elements honestly and sincerely, they will be equipped, they will have the tools to choose whatever worldview best serves their life pursuit. And whatever they choose then will be truly theirs.